Good afternoon, dear beloveds. This is White Wolf. I'm going to start off by enacting protocols called upon the live fire dragon, earth, water dragon, earth, fire dragon, Queen's pink dragon, golden orange dragon, Ezekiel, my two black dragons, the black dragon, Saturn, and alpha dragon, Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Sandalphon, Raphael, Mother Mary, Saint Germain, the Intergalactic Council, the Galactic Federation of Light, grandfather, grandmother, and the tribal women are also in attendance. The Intergalactic Council, and so it is. How are all of you today? This is White Wolf, and I'm going to be talking about disassociating from not only your emotions, your sensations, your way about you, the way that you assumed yourself to be, the old self, the lower self, the imposter self. So, what does it really mean to become the source of all that there is, encompassing everything, all knowledge, all religions, all of spirituality? All of your ego, having the more purified ego, becoming the most true individuated self. So, I'm going to share out to all of the groups, so please give me a moment to do so. And as I'm sharing out, you can please share out. This is White Wolf. Make an appointment with me and Morning Star, and it will change your life. It's only $79.99, but on Divine Ray, it's $50. So, we're kind of networking. We're kind of going all over the board. We're kind of trying to get from point A to point B, and we want to touch more lives. We want to do this. We want to do that. We want to do more. And how do you do more? How do you help people more? How do you attract what you want to attract so you're able to do more for people, so that you're able to become more of service to others instead of yourself, because it's in the beginning it's just for yourself, so that one day you could live for others. You have to live for yourself. You have to make the right choices. You have to be steered in the right direction, and you have to meet the right people, and you have to realize that you are important, and you have to realize that there's grace on your life. There's an anointing on your life. There's a calling on your life. And when there's a calling, you are driven. And when you are driven, you have a goal. And when you have a goal, you have a view. And when you are following your dreams, you're following your heart. It is all inside of your heart. That is where dreams spawn from. That is where dreams spawn from. And what we're doing when we're becoming more enlightened, when we're embodying God's source energy, when we're embodying the aqua flow river of God's source energy in our lives, we are disassociating from becoming the human being. We are not the caveman. We are the more ET version of ourselves. We're the more enlightened version of ourselves. We're more conscious instead of unconscious. But we're stepping into a new realm. We're stepping into the supernatural realm. We're stepping into our powers, our telepathy, our clairaudience, our clairvoyancy. We're stepping into it being more enhanced and becoming more subtle, becoming more of a god. And we have to prophesize what we want. What can I do to lose this weight? What can I do to have this vehicle? What can I do to find my team, to attract my team? The choices that I have to make in order for this prophecy to be foretold. It's quite like the story of Elijah and that woman whose son died, and she remained calm and peaceful in all situations, and she realized that all is well. So when that woman went to Elijah in the Bible, and I'm quoting the Bible, I usually don't, but this is very, very good. When she went to that man and people asked her if something was wrong, even though her son just died and she was pregnant most of her life, what does she do? She remained at peace, she remained calm, she remained collected, and she realized that everything was going to be okay, but until she gets her son to Elijah. And then Elijah brought her son back to life and resurrected him from the dead. Well, that's what we're doing. We're this little boy or girl. We're this little boy or girl, and we died, and then we're being resurrected, and we're becoming the container of all things. We're becoming the source of all things. We're encompassing all of the knowledge from our Native American guides, from religion, from spirituality, from consciousness itself, because consciousness cannot be defined in one way. It cannot be described in one way. It cannot be intellectually grasped in one way. So, consciousness is the embodiment of all things. It is everything. It is all that there is. It is just the I am meditating on top of itself, and it's just I am, it's just being. And when you realize that being is transcendence, when just being the subtle version of yourself and being weightless and not being a false prophet, but being the true self, the true individuated self, the true self that illuminates the universe, the singular light that illuminates the entire course of the universe. So, what is it? We're trying to become the greatest showman, and I watched this movie called The Greatest Showman. And we are all just individuations of Source playing in this big circus, and we all have our roles. It is not a matter of what is right and what is wrong, but it's not having our spirituality be vain, because he who bridles his tongue or claims that he's spiritual or religious is very vain. We can say that when people ask us, like, what do you do? Oh, I'm spiritual. But are you really spiritual? Are you doing what you need to do? Are you really religious? Because people can say that they're spiritual or that they're religious or that they're this or that they're that, but to really have the grace that comes with it, to really have the grace and the loving spirit, the drive, the energy that it encompasses to be God and to love all things and to accept life as it is and to want to be of service to others and not want it just for yourself or your self image or your self gain or just wanting to have people follow you so that they listen to you like an actor or a politician. Because I don't get on here to hear myself talk. I get on here because I want to help people. But there's some people who want to get on here to hear themselves talk. They want to get on here for their self gain, for their self image, and they're not willing to sacrifice all of the things that they give into. To sacrifice all the things that you give into is the next level, is the next step, and we are being ushered into a new level of consciousness. That is, it's a new density, it's a new dimension that we're going through. And what they're prepping us for is to be the master or the alchemist within. They're prepping us so that we can handle ourselves, so that we're not some little pissy teenager. We can't be some little pissy teenager anymore. We can't be this person that we've been giving our power away to, and we need to totally destroy the human aspect of ourselves. Because the human aspect of ourselves is what's keeping us back. It's what causes resistance on the path of enlightenment. It's what causes you to not go forward instead of being in flow. It allows you to take two steps back, and then it's no flow. It's quite like a clogged up drain. It's quite like a pool filter that's clogged. Well, it's not being cleaned because the filter's too full. It has too much muck and mire. But what is happening is we are becoming a true beacon of light. We're becoming a true individuation of Mother Mary energy, of Jesus, of Elijah, of Ezekiel, of the prophets, of the people who are very big in this day and age. People are examples of us. People are reflections for us. People are showing us the way, but we have to know the way. And once we are just at peace in every situation, in every argument, in every sensation that we have, and all of our perceptions, when we're at peace and it's purified to the fullest of our capabilities, the manifestation, the attraction, the level of energy will surprise you. It will really, really surprise you when you are truly just being, when you're just a weightless ball of energy, when you are just this ball of energy that contains the knowledge of knowing life, of accepting life, of understanding yourself, accepting yourself, learning more about yourself, understanding your triggers, and not to have anything of that nature, and to be peaceful truly on purpose. And to be calm and collected and be at peace in all situations and all triggers and all arguments and all of your perceptions and all aspects of life and all aspects of your consciousness and all aspects of your innermost being then the tables sort of turn and people see that and people see the example that you are setting for them. And as you're setting that example for them, they're like, maybe I can emulate what that person has, but I don't necessarily want what that person has because that's wrong. But I want to emulate what they bring to the table because you have to know what you bring to the table. You have to know how important and how loved and infinitely abundant that you truly are in order to have an impact on somebody's life. I walked up to a kid the other day and I told him he was going to be the best wide receiver in the NFL and how important and how loved he was. And I put a protection of angels all around him and I told him to take himself more seriously. And it was all the things that I needed to hear. And I've been hearing this reoccurring thing that I'm not taking myself as seriously as I should. But you have to admit those things. If you don't admit those things, you're going to eat your words on a day to day basis. Because we all eat our words as light workers, because light workers, I believe, truly have the toughest job and the heaviest burden because we're clearing all aspects of ourselves in different lifetimes, in different realms, in different planes, in different universes. We're realizing more of what we need to learn. Are we going to be channeling? Are we going to be a healer? What path do I need to take? If I am the master, what path or direction do I need to take? And what doors do I need to go through so that I can become all that I can be? So, and you have to really ask yourself and you have to look yourself in the mirror and you have to really tell yourself that you love yourself and that you have to realize that everything is fine. Everything is good. Everything is great. Even if it's not going my way, that means something else later down the road is going to go my way. And just because my circumstances reflect to me that I'm not doing the right thing, well, maybe I should pay attention to that and then do something else so that there's a cause and effect. Make a different cause so you have a different effect. We have this whole misconception about spirituality that we have to be religious, that we have to be vain, that we have to be this certain way and have to do it a certain way and not do it our own way and not have our own path because we do have our own path. And not everybody's gifting is the same, but that's living in the circus and being the greatest showman that ever lived. Some guy's really tall, some guy's probably the fattest man alive. Some person is the leader. We all have our place in this big, humongous puzzle of consciousness, of the evolution of the human being. We are embracing more of our extraterrestrial self. We're becoming more extraterrestrial. We're not becoming complacent, egotistical, and boring and dry and stagnant and stale and ridiculous, really, because the human being is ridiculous. The human being only thinks primarily on itself, but God thinks of all things and thinks of all people and thinks of giving it just back to source when something happens to them. And I cracked my watch at the gym the other day, and as I cracked it, I took ownership of it. I took ownership that it was my fault that I cracked my watch. But maybe because I cracked my watch, that it is a new day, that it is a new time, that it is a new universe that we're living in, and that we are not the same person that we woke up this morning being. I am not the same person that is doing this live feed right here and right now. I am not the same person after this live feed, after I'm done intellectually talking to all of you and discussing a topic and teaching you something today. I am not that same human being and I make mistakes all the time. We make mistakes all the time, but a mistake is a gateway to learning more. Mistakes on the spiritual journey, the hardships of the spiritual journey, the trials and the tribulation of the spiritual journey will break you, but it will shape you and mold you like Play Doh into this wonderful looking mannequin, this purified mannequin of pure white light, and a pure example of the Creator in the Oracle of Love, Light, and Wisdom in human form. That is what the Oracle of Love, Light, and Wisdom is. It's its most purified, most emphatic, most deliberate and devoted human being that there is. You have to be deliberate. You have to be devoted. You have to know what you're striving for and who are the people that can be placed on my path in order for that to happen? What choices do I need to make to lose this weight? Maybe I got to stop eating less. Maybe I'll eat, um, 2 meals a day or 1 meal a day, or maybe I'll just have a protein shake in the morning so that I can be as skinny and look like Zac Efron if I want to look like Zac Efron. But I have to use my imagination to see myself that I can look like Zac Efron's abs if I want Zac Efron's abs. Does that make sense? I know that's a crazy example, but what I'm trying to relate to all of you, it, we're disassociating from everything that we've been doing, the revolving door of unconscious decisions, of unconscious speech, of unconscious accusations. And we've been doing this in multiple lifetimes on the path of self remembrance, but we're clearing all of that so that we can show people in this lifetime, in this realm, that we can do something different, but we're also showing another aspect of ourselves how to do this as well. And we don't realize that there are certain people's timelines that we're affecting. We're even affecting the doppelganger's timeline. We don't even realize that we're doing that. That we're affecting our doppelganger's timeline. We can go to that doppelganger if we want to. But there is another aspect of ourselves that is thriving, and that's beautiful because all of our aspects of ourselves, the monad, the I am presence, 12 aspects of ourselves, need to thrive. And we need to all be sort of in sync. So when everybody is in sync, when everybody is conscious, when everybody is enlightened, we're kind of all on the same page, and we don't have a reason to argue. We don't have a reason to like discredit the fact of, oh, it doesn't say this in the Bible, it doesn't say this, Buddha doesn't say this, Jesus didn't say that, but it doesn't matter because we are all Jesus in human form, and that is what the Oracle of Love, Light, and Wisdom is. It's just God in human form living its journey, purifying the darkness within, purifying and letting more of the light in, or building that spiritual mass in. And once you build that spiritual mass in, you'll see that you'll change. You see that the your awareness will change. You will see the whole scope of your reality will change. What is in your perception will change. The people in your life will change. The whole scope of your consciousness will level up, and you will inspire and level up other people that are around you. That's what we're all here for. We're all here to inspire one another to do better than we did last time around. In another lifetime, in this lifetime, whatever it may be, it doesn't really matter, but it matters what we're doing right here, right now, internally, in the present. That's really what matters. Living in the present, not the president, is truly trust, it's truly faith, and it's a lot of willpower. You have to have will, and you have to have patience, and you must have faith on the spiritual path because they are proud of you. The Intergalactic Council, your whatever, whoever your guides are, it doesn't matter. They are all proud of you, and you all are where you need to be at right now. But just imagine where you're going to be next year, where you're going to be 5 years, where you're going to be 10 years. And I want you to sort of take a look at yourself in the future. Take a look of yourself, take a snapshot of what you look like. What are you wearing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you smoking a cigar, or maybe doing a podcast? What are you doing? And how are you doing it? And that is cool, and that is awesome, and that is great. So we're disassociating from our unconscious habits. No matter if it's all the things that I have named thus far, it's painful, it's uncomfortable. You will cry a lot at night. You will have galactic beings work on you at night. You will read a lot of books. And I'm reading one book by Joel Osteen. He's a pastor, but I'm not discrediting his path. Master Ko worked with the Buddhists. I don't discredit his path. Everybody has a path. Doesn't matter if you're a Catholic. Doesn't matter if you're this. It doesn't matter you're that. You're all have a place, and you're all the individuations of Source. And it's not a sin to be the knowledge of all things, to be the container of all things, to be the container of transcendence. It's not a sin to be happy. It's not a sin to have a different sexuality than some other people. But the greatest sin is not doing what you were called to do and what you thought was right in your heart. That's the greatest sin. And I don't even like to say that, but the greatest sin is you not being joyous, not being happy, not being attracting things, being abundant, being prosperous. And the sin is an illusion. The whole shaming, the whole judgmental, the whole vanity of all that is an illusion. And being a human being is an illusion. And then as you see through that illusion, you are dying and resurrecting and becoming more of the extraterrestrial self. And then you realize that, oh, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong in my entire lifetime. I was just unconscious, and now I'm conscious again, and now I'm rebirthed again, and I'm born again, and I'm born to be this immaculate, beautiful, abundant, prosperous, analytical, intellectual human being, that I am worthy of that. There's this whole thing with people wanting to be right or wrong, and it's vain. It's vain spirituality. We've all been vain. I've been vain in my lifetime. I have been egotistical in my lifetime. But there is this thing about grace. You must have grace. You can throw Bible verses, you can throw judgment, you can cast judgment onto anybody else. But then you have to really look at yourself and be like, was that right? Was it genuine? Was it graceful? Was it loving? Even if someone's put you in a box and they don't really understand you and they don't really like you and they don't really jive with you and they don't like you as a person, that's fine. You must respect their free will and you must respect that they don't understand you. And it's fine. But find the people that do understand you, because that's what this whole thing is about. We're not trying to reach the entire world. We're reaching a certain amount of people that resonate with us, and we appreciate the others that we don't even resonate, and we respect that gifting, and we respect how they're doing it, and we respect the gifting, and we respect free will. Respect is honoring everyone's free will to a T. It's cosmological law. It's not wrong, because if you're from India and family matters most and you get away from that family, and that's wrong. Well, no, that's a delusion, because we've been believing all of these traditional things, these very diluted things for so long, and we think it's love, and it's actually not. Love is being a free being. Love is being free, spacious awareness, and being the extraterrestrial, getting into the hovercraft and flying to wherever it wants to go to. Love is freeing, and love, it gives endlessly, and love wants all of its each individuations to have the most beneficial journey on this spiritual awakening to ascension. The spiritual awakening is a box of all knowledge. The spiritual awakening is an inclusion of all that there is, of all things, of all knowledge, of all descriptions, of all perceptions of consciousness. But when it becomes everything, when it becomes everything, when it becomes just being, when it becomes just God to God, when it just becomes the prophecy and it is fulfilled, then you are absolute. And when you are absolute, you are just being. You are just consciousness itself. You are just here, right now. You're just right here. You're just this. You're not the body, you are not the mind, you are not anything in the 3D. You are just pure being, spacious awareness. And you're beautiful. You are immaculate. You are just consciousness. And you are making a decision before you even make a decision because there's another aspect of you making that said decision. But this isn't a race. Slow and steady truly wins the race. We are all turtles on this journey, and I truly believe that. But we get a running start. Sometimes the turtle can kick up some gas. It may not be the fastest way, but it'll get there. Slow and steady truly wins the race. It's not meant to be rushed. It's meant to be gradual. It is an evolution of the human being. It becomes very gradual on your spiritual path. It doesn't become a race because then you'll miss out on something. You'll miss out on some healing that you need, some knowledge that you need, some learning that you need to learn, some reflection, some catalyst that you need to learn. So why are we in such a rush? Why the rush? Why is it this? Why is it that? Why is it that we question ourselves, second guess ourselves? Why can't we just know? And when we just know, there is no question. There is no argument. There is just conscious dependability. When you just know things, when you just know, you don't have to understand because you already know. Before even someone asks a question, you use your telepathy and you already know what that person wants from you. That's how you know. That's how you become supernatural. That's how you become all that you can become. Becoming supernatural freaks people out. It freaks people out because people don't think that it's real. The realists don't think that supernatural is real, but the realist is not real, and reality is not real. And when you see through the illusion, you even see through the illusion of meditation that everything is meditation, that you can live a peaceful life if you want to, but it's all based on what you want. And if you are attracting what you don't want, then you are playing along with the illusion and you're blaming everybody else except for yourself. But we need to start acknowledging that we need to take responsibility for our own muck and mire. And here lately, I've been asking late at night when I'm laying in my bed, I'm just like, work on me. Just work with me. Work this out. Clear this. I had to watch a movie that I didn't want to watch. It was called Unhinged, and it was about road rage. And it was about, and it had Russell Crowe in it, and he was this crazy psychopath. And because of this decision that this woman made to honk at him, he wanted to ruin her life. And it was to show me that I was that aspect in another lifetime. But I've noticed this thing in movies. I watched Cruella, I watched The Wrath of Man. It is all showing us what we can become, how nasty we can become, how disgusting we become, or kind of gross, if you will. But then you realize that is not you now. That is not who you are now. But now is all that matters. Because what you were before is you looking back. And the only way to live in the future is to live eternally now. So, on a day to day basis, we need to look how we act within conventional reality. We need to realize that each decision that we make creates a ripple effect, and we can live our worst case scenario in a matter of 24 hours if we really wanted to. So we got to be careful, and we got to remain completely in the light, completely within our own bubble, if you will, in our own reality, and not be around the muck and the mire and not even think of it and not even really internalize with it or identify with it. And this is why I always talk about shadow work as inner work. Because if we keep lingering in the shadow, we're giving our power away. And we keep giving our power away, and that's how we stay stagnant. And that's how we stay stuck a lot of the times, is because we give our power away to thinking that we have to be in the revolving door shadow work. Internalize it, cry about it, acknowledge that you were that way or you had to clean this up, and then move on and go about your life and then improve and upgrade yourself and level up and just keep going. You got to keep going. You got to keep trucking. You can't stop for nobody. You're not going to stop for no thing. You're not going to stop anytime soon. You're just going to keep going and keep pushing, because that's what they want you to do. That's what heaven wants you to do. That's what heaven on earth is keeping pushing and making the most of this life here and now. Making the most of this moment. Making the most of all of this. Because if you want this to be your hell, that's your choice. But you can have heaven on earth if you want it, if you desire it, if it's burning inside of you to want to impact the evolution of consciousness, then go do it. But it's like maybe have an impact on your children today, have an impact on your friends today. But it's not in your story to change someone else's story, but you must rewrite the screenplay to this story, the lines, the director, the producer. How does this movie go? Does it have a good ending? Does it have a bad ending? Is there conflict? Is there kind of a breaking point? Do we make it out as the most purified version of ourselves? So, what do you want today? Do you want to make an appointment with someone today? Will it help you? Will you buy a book today that will inspire you? Will you but do it for all of the right reasons. But do it because if it's needed, but don't do it if it's not needed. Don't make an appointment if it's not needed, but do what makes sense for you and what resonates for you and what is going to elevate you and snap you into place and push the eject button and get out of your seat and go for a run and go to Planet Fitness, do this and do that, do multiple things at once and do what you are being called to do, or maybe it's just to help your family. It doesn't matter if it's something very simple. It doesn't have to be exactly what I'm doing. But we're going to get into some healing, so if you will stay along for the ride. So I want you to get in a calm space in your consciousness. I want you to activate the pineal gland, the third eye, and use this as a motion detector or a BS detector or a detector of what you don't want. And I want you to envision what you want in the future, of what you want right now, of who you want in your life, of what you desire in your life the most. And I'm going to be doing light language and stupid mudra energy, but I just wanted you to just flow, to just be, to be more subtle, to get quiet, to really hone in and focus. Shitipama aya ate ke ma koya shihi mahaya api ken ma koya api bima aya ate ke ma koya ashi bima aya ate hima aya ate hima aya shipi haya haya ate hima hoya ate kema hoya ate hima aya ibi hama haya ate kema koya iya shibama daya ate kema kaya ate tema daya ha ine haya ho. There's some Atlantean codes coming through. The Sophia codes are coming through. There's some magic here. There is some truly exciting things happening in the future. Find your center, get calm, get collected, and just know that you are the oracle of love, light, and wisdom, and everything you touch turns to gold. And you are the real reason of why everything ticks, of why everything moves, grows, changes, elevates. And you are here to help the people that want help from you, that resonate with you, that love you, that are needed in your life, that are here, that are in the now, not in the past, not even in the future, but right here, right in this moment. That everything you've ever desired is here, and that you need to quit worrying and stop giving away to the human aspect and embrace the extraterrestrial aspect of you. And when you accumulate your dreams in your heart, that's where it all spawns from, is your heart. That is the first brain. Consciousness. I wouldn't even call it your second brain. But you have two brains. It's consciousness and your heart. And everything stems from that. It stems from love. It stems from devotion. It stems from humility. It stems from grace. It stems from all that there is, and realizing that the container, the lid on the container is open. But just let go. Let go completely. Let go of the past, let go of your human self, and resurrect and embody Source in human form, embody the oracle of love, light, and wisdom, and cherish it and love it and feed it, nourish it, treat it like a newborn baby. But if you tap into this frequency every single day, if you tap into it at night, if you tap into it when you're just walking in your neighborhood with no shoes on, even with walking through the neighborhood with your eyes closed, but knowledge is not power, and pride is not power, and judgment is not power, and vanity is not power. But grace is power, humility is power, devotion is power. And with great power comes great responsibility. And yes, dear beloveds, it's a heavy burden to purify all of yourself in this lifetime and all lifetimes, in different realms, in different doppelgangers. But it's more of the purified ego. It's more of the purified happiness, the true happiness, the riches of life, the fruits of the gods. Eating from the tree of life will always breathe life, will always breathe change, but the tree of knowledge doesn't breathe life. It's just kind of stagnant and stale, and nothing really happens except for all the things I listed before. But I appreciate the time that we spent here together today in the collaboration of the healing and the ascension, the awakening of planet Earth. And with every step, with every decision, with every single moment, living internally in the present, we are developing a new sense of being, a new way, a new path, a new inspiration to all. And when I snap my fingers, you will come back to, you have a greater sense of clarity. You will become the oracle of love, light, and wisdom, which is source in human form, which is the source of all things. It is the true nature of the I am. And it's all that you are, and we are all that we are, and it is all that there is. It is the isness of being. It is the true nature of who you are, not the imposter self, but the higher self. Take one last deep breath, or a couple if you need to. Thank you all for joining me today. Go to our Instagram page, I_M_movement, all lowercase. Go to our Facebook page, I am movement, I capital M capital M capital movement, all lowercase. Like it and see us on BitChute. It's Morningstar at I am movement. BitChute is another avenue where you can promote yourself and check us out on Divine Ray, and shout out to Morningstar and David Starr for their powerful transmission yesterday. Um, they are just magical. Um, but make an appointment with me, Morningstar. It will change your life. It's only 70, 79.99. I can't talk right now because I'm coming down off the healing. Just 1 hour appointments. We pull cards, healings. She's a master intuitive. And I just want you guys to know that you are loved and that you are important and that we all are important. And we just got to realize and take ourselves more seriously about what we want and what we desire and what we want to attract in our lives, and just want to take ourselves more seriously and to not second guess and just to know. So, I love you all. You have a blessed evening or day wherever you're at in the world. And just know that we are all on the evolution of all of our ascension paths. And we're all in this circus, and we all have a specific place. And we're becoming the greatest showman or showwoman. I don't want you guys come after me. Um, but no, it was very fun being with all of you who watched today, and we just want to help as many people as we can. And I just want you to know that you're loved and you're important and you're abundant. Thank you all.